So you've probably been told to raise your price, increase your price, or only charge as little as $3,000 for your high ticket coaching. I want to actually break down the logic behind pricing and the three things that really influence how much you should be charging for your coaching. So whether you're just starting out in the high ticket space or you're at a point where you actually want to increase your price or revamp your pricing, this video is going to walk you through the actual logic and math behind deciding what your price should be for your coaching program. So the three things that you need to consider when it comes to pricing your coaching program, assuming, like, we're just going to assume for the sake of this video that your coaching program is the only source of income for your business. Now, ideally, obviously you want to have different streams of income, but let's just assume that your coaching program is the single source of income for your business. With that in mind, you have three things that are going to impact how much you actually price your program at. So the first thing that you need to consider is the actual overhead cost for your business. How much does it cost to profitably operate your business? So we're talking about subscription costs, if we're paying a VA or any other contractors within your business, if you're like at the beginning stages of being a solopreneur, right? So those are things that you need to think about. So what are the operating expenses within your business so that you can operate your business profitably? The second thing that you need to consider is your actual capacity. How many clients can you realistically serve with the time capacity and energy capacity that you have? So when you're thinking about how to price your program, you need to consider, well, how many clients can I realistically serve? So that'll determine whether you need to price higher or if you can afford to actually price lower. So that's the second factor that you need to think about when it comes to your pricing. And I'll talk about how all of this actually comes together. So the third thing that you need to consider is the actual value that your client will get from working with you, from your coaching program. So a good example of this is looking at the monetary value that they get from it. So are they able to make more money as a result of working with you, or are they able to save money? Now, a lot of times when you go through coaching program, there are intangible results, but I find if you can actually tie the results of your program to something quantifiable like money, you will be able to easily show the value of them investing with you and the value of your program and how you price it. So a good example is if you are a health and wellness coach, right? And you are helping people get free from like diabetes, having to take medicine and all those different types of things, right? So you can equate how much you're able to help them by how much maybe they will then save in doctor's costs or medical expenses. So this is how you can help figure out what is the value of the program. What am I helping people save monetarily, or how much am I helping them make? And from there, you can charge a percentage of that. I like to say around at least 10% of what you're able to help them gain or help them save when it comes from a cost perspective. So let's talk about how we can tie all of that in. So a great example that I want to use is actually one of my clients. And when she came to me, she was charging like less than $100, like most coaches are when they were first starting out, doing like one-to-one kind of one-off coaching. And then when she started working with me, we set the minimum at $3,000 for her coaching program. Now, the reason that we could stand by that number is quite simple. And actually now she's priced higher, but it's quite simple. Through her coaching, she's proven that she's able to help women get at least 50 to 100K and salary increases. She has a process, a proprietary process. She teaches people how to negotiate. Like, she has a method that's going to work, that's going to help her clients at least get 50 to 100K in salary increases with their job change. With that said, she can then look at it from a percentage standpoint to say, hey, I can charge anywhere from 10 to 20% of that salary increase that they're going to get, meaning she can now charge at least at minimum $5,000 for her coaching program. Now, that's just not the number that we're just going to just go with right off the bat, right? So we need to make sure it actually checks all three of the boxes. Does this help cover her expenses? So assuming that, she does this full time, maybe her living expenses are like $2,000. That's very good, right? So maybe her living expenses are $2,000, right? So if she were only to get one client a month, she would theoretically be able to cover her living expenses, and maybe that includes her business expenses, and she'd be profitable. But that's not as profitable as we want to be. So obviously in this case, she can either raise her price or know that she needs to get more clients. And I think in this case, you would definitely agree that the solution is probably to easily just get more clients to be able to cover your expenses, so that you can operate, full-time as an entrepreneur. The second thing is we have to consider time constraints. So again, we said, hey, well, why don't we just get more clients? But does she actually have the time to support more clients, right? Does she have the capacity to serve 5 clients where she's making $25,000 a month? If the answer is no, I don't have the capacity to serve more clients, then we know that we have room within that 10 to 20% to actually increase that price because of the value and the ROI that the clients are going to get. So in a case where she may say, hey, I can only work with 1 client per month, then we would say, let's raise our price to maybe $7,500, which is somewhere in the middle. That way she's able to be profitable, meet her expenses, meet her business expenses. She is able to stay within the time capacity that she has, and she's able to charge the value of the ROI that the client is actually going to get. So hopefully it makes sense when it comes to pricing. You want to make sure, obviously, that you're able to meet your expenses. So those overhead, those marketing costs, the cost of maybe if you have a contractor, the subscription costs that you have to run your business, you want to make sure that you're pricing to be able to cover that, even if you only have 1 client per month, right? So that's the baseline. Then you want to make sure that based on the pricing, right, it makes sense for the number of clients that you can serve. So if you can only serve 1 client, then obviously you will need to charge more in order to cover those expenses and to just be profitable overall, right? But if you can stand to increase the number of clients that you have, so increase your capacity, that means you can probably err on the lesser side of the spectrum. And then last but not least, you want to make sure you're charging equivalent to the ROI that your clients are actually going to get. So if you're saving them $50,000, then it's nothing for you to say, well, it's $5,000 investment for you to get a $50,000 savings. Like, that is a no-brainer. Or if you're making them $100,000, it's almost a no-brainer to say, well, I'm charging you $10,000 in order to be able to make $100,000. And the other thing that I think you need to remember is when you're coaching, right, you're teaching them skills that they can use for a lifetime. So it's not just a savings over a year or savings over that time period that they're working with you. They're getting skills that will help them save or be able to make money for their lifetime. So what you're charging is merely a fraction of the overall return on investment. So keep that in mind when you're thinking, well, maybe I'm charging too much. Think about what is the ROI that they'll get over a lifetime. And I guarantee you will be more confident in what you're charging, assuming obviously that your program works, that you have a solid program, you have a solid curriculum, and that they will actually get the results that you are promising. So hopefully this video was helpful in helping you determine the price for your program. If it was, comment below and let me know what your biggest takeaway was. And then of course you can click the link in the bio to access any of my free trainings or to book a call to see how I can help you with your coaching business. With that, I want you to check out this next video.